Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? It's been a while. So we're going to do an odds and sods video today. We're not going to dedicate this video just to our pedal that we're building for our base, but I want to walk you through it because it is important that at least I explain what it's doing or how it's supposed to be doing it. So first of all, as usual, Brendan has come through in a big way here to help me understand how this works. And I'm going to attempt to break it down for you. So there's actually three sections to this pedal. The first one is the tones section, and that's where you get your bass and your treble. Then there's an amplifier section, and then there's a distortion section. So it's broken down into three various components. I'm going to show you the prototype that I built in a moment, but let me explain how it works. So your bass comes in right here, and the first thing it does is it goes through a tone stack. And you'll see right here we have two 500K pots, one for treble, one for bass. And essentially what we're doing here is when the bass is fully engaged, we're stripping out some of the frequencies, the treble frequencies. And the same thing is true here. So these tone controls work really well. We're not adding anything, we take out, right? That's what tone things usually do. But when you do that, you also take some of the power with it, right? So that's why you have to build an amplifier section to regain the power that you lose when you adjust tone. So what we do here is we go through our tone stack and we come up here to an LM324, which is an op amp, and there's actually 4 op amps in this chip. We're only using one. And essentially what we're doing is we're feeding our signal in. We've got a 9-volt power supply that powers the chip, and essentially the output comes right here out on pin 1, and it comes off into the next section, which we'll talk about in a moment. We also have we have to build a volume/power switch into this thing because we are using 2 separate 9-volt circuits. We need a separate 9-volt circuit for the distortion, and that's why you'll see here that we've got this 9-volt cutoff here, and this is these are the 2 sections right here. That's so we don't drain the battery when we're not using the pedal. So we come out of this amplifier section, and we have a volume pot that's available for us. There's our volume pot, so that's what we're going to use to control the volume, right? So we're going to add power and be able to adjust it. We then come out of the amplifier, and we go into the distortion circuit. So you'll see that we're using an IC. It's a 2N3901, and essentially what we're doing is we're driving the signal to peak, right? As you know, when you look at a signal on a scope, you get a nice little sine wave, and what we're looking for here is for the tops of those things to be flattened, and that's exactly what we get. So we go through this this chip, and we come over here. We've got a 0.1 capacitor. Here's our 9-volt battery rail that I told you about, and we go through a pair of diodes. So one of them is a 1N1142. The other one is a germanium diode, 1N34A. And we come over here, and we've got our distortion circuit right here. And then of course we put a 1 meg pot right here. I'm sorry, 1 meg resistor right here. And we go out. And that's how we go out to the amp. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to show you what the circuit looks like in a moment in prototype, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Be right back. Okay, here's our prototype, and here's the 3 sections I told you about. First section here is our tone. This is the input jack. Here's our 2 pots, and very minimal. We come over here into our power section, and there's the LM324. And there's our volume switch, volume control that I mentioned, 1 meg. And we've got a couple of caps here, obviously. And then we come out of here and we go into the distortion section. This potentiometer is not used. I need to remove it from the board. But essentially, here's our section that generates our tone. Right there is our germanium diode. Here's the other one. And here's our IC chip, our transistor. So, and here's the output. So we've got everything tied together. We've got 2 battery leads on this thing. This is a prototype. It works. It'll generate lots of nice distortion and fuzz. Right now I'm waiting for a metal case to get here so I can build it. I don't know if I'm going to make a circuit board or try to use perf board. Haven't decided that yet, but this is what we're dealing with. So let's switch gears a little bit now and talk about what our next projects are going to be. Okay, let's do that. All right, here's our next project. It's a Philco 41-245 and got this for a really good price on eBay, really cheap, and it's a push button radio, and I always wanted a push button radio, so we're definitely gonna restore this thing and bring it back. Cabinet's in really good shape actually. The veneer is pretty good, not a lot of battle scars. It's got multiple bands. I believe it has a police band, AM band, broadcast, of course. But I haven't really done the research on it because I haven't gotten it yet. It's still not here. And I'll show you some other pictures of what it looks like, but you can see the cabinet is in generally great shape. This piece here, this bezel, is known to warp on these things. I've seen a video that someone that did this and saw that. Here's our chassis. And it's pretty simple. I love this antenna, this solid wire copper antenna in here. Pretty cool. And it looks like it's got a mixture of Loctile tubes. Looks like they may all be Loctile, I'm not sure. But they're all Loctiles, and it looks like. And we've got some fairly complex dial string issues here, so you know I love dial strings. So we're going to have some fun with that. And then here's the cabinet. Again, it looks really good. So that's project number one. So project number two, let's find that, and we'll get you where that needs to be. Let's see, where are we? All right, project number two is right here. All right, and this is a 1939 RCA Victor Model T62. Now again, this one has push buttons, and one of the buttons are missing, so I'm going to have to make one. But look at the shape of this cabinet. This cabinet's in extraordinary shape. Looks really good. Looks like someone may have varnished it or something at some point. It's got a nice looking dial. But one thing you may not be able to see right here, it's got the green eye tube, and I always wanted a radio with a green eye tube, and I got one. This is a great deal on this one as well. Somebody put that cord in there. I can't wait to see what's been cannibalized underneath. There again, cabinet looks great. Here's our chassis, and you see we've got these metal tubes in here. And here's the green eye tube. It's nice. The speaker is off to the side. I like that. And there's the spec sheet on it, and it looks like we've got a 6SA7, 6SK7, a 5Y3 rectifier, a 6F6 output tube, and a 6SQ7, so fairly common. There's another look at close up, and right there is our green eye tube, and there it is again. So I'm looking forward to this one. Like I said, I always wanted a radio with one of these tubes, and hopefully the tube works. So that's going to be our next project as well. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to work on first. I may do this one first. We'll see. I don't think this one is going to be a particularly long restore. It's going to be a lot of cleaning and stuff, and fixing of the cabinet and stuff. But that's where we're going to be. So I wanted to share with what's coming up next. After I get done with these radios and our pedal, I want to start looking at an amplifier again. I kind of like to go back and forth between amps and radios. So you know, in the future, I'm going to see what kind of project I can do from home here with my spares and my stock, and do another amplifier project. But that'll be coming up in a bit. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing good, and have a great day. By the way, on this Philco 41245, it has 3 bands. So it has broadcast band, right there. It has police band, and it has shortwave. So pretty cool radio. It's got a lot of stuff built into it. So looking forward to that. And of course with Philco, you always get part lists and all kinds of stuff. So placement of components, which is always helpful. And we'll go from there. All right, that's it. Take care, folks.